If you want real change in your dating life or relationship, there's 3 steps you have to take. Because if you skip any of them, you will stay stuck in cycles, blaming the wrong things, and wondering why nothing's working or nothing ever changes. Most people never get the love or the relationship they want because they never get honest about where they are. They don't get clear about what's actually even possible or committed to doing the work to actually get there. Let's change that starting today. The first step you got to take to doing this is learning to see your situation as it actually is, not the way your pain is painting it, not the way your desires wish it was, right? And not how your ego needs it to be to justify staying in a situation you shouldn't be in anymore, right? Or justifying you not doing the work to grow and evolving because you generalize things to everyone and say, everyone does this. You give yourself this little subconscious pass. Or blaming the field. There's no good men out there. There's no good women out there, right? Anything to help you stay in the headspace that makes you feel reassured instead of questioning things better to get better results. Whatever you're doing that is making your perspective skewed, right? And it's twisting whatever your reality is into a frame that's not how it actually is for you. When you don't learn to see your situation the way it actually is versus the way your pains or your pleasures are trying to paint it, is how you wind up in situations where you want that relationship or that situation, maybe with that person you're dating, to work out so badly that you keep overlooking how emotionally unavailable they really are because you're so caught up in that desire and that lust and that craving just to want to have that person and finally get there and get to take your battle armor off and get out of this dating pool and get to finally have someone you can feel safe with, or you don't want to be alone anymore. All the things that happens in with us internally, you want it so bad to work out that you keep looking past obvious glaring red flags that have been showing you the patterns for some time now, or they've never actually shown you the patterns or the actions in the first place that says they do possess what you require to get what you actually want. It's the way you keep blaming the dating pool, but never actually look at who you're choosing and why. You keep getting the same results with the same people you keep finding. Why are you getting the same people? Everyone out there's not getting the same results. Everyone's not finding the same jerks out there or whatever, or people that don't really care, or severely, unhealed and coming from places of trauma. Everyone's not getting that same cycle of people over and over again. But you're so caught up on placing the blame outside of yourself, looking at what's wrong with everyone you're coming across, that you're not looking at the one place, the one thing that's the common denominator in the middle of it all, which is always you. The truth is this: you cannot change what you're still romanticizing, and you'll never grow past what you refuse to own, right? So when I say see it as it actually is, it means take the emotion out of it for a second. Yes, you want to tap into the way you feel about a situation to get information from that situation. It's a message in there. But oftentimes, the message we think we're getting from the emotions we're feeling in the circumstance is not the actual message that those signals, those sensations are trying to convey to you, right? Oftentimes, that, pain from dealing with a situation where you're not happy in a circumstance, or you're getting bad results out there dating, isn't telling you that everyone is bad or wrong or messed up. Sometimes they're trying to tell you that, hey, there's some tweaks you need to make to your vetting process. There's some unhealed wounds that you're trying to heal subconsciously through continuously choosing people that reflect an experience you had in the past that wasn't good for you or something, right? That's often the real message. Or whenever you want to work so bad that you're overlooking the red flags, it's trying to tell you that, hey, you're not offering yourself enough love and peace internally to where you're willing to sacrifice healthy patterns and things in your life in order to hold on to someone for the idea of filling some void you have to fill. That's often the real truth going on. So when we say see it as it actually is, take some of the emotion out for a moment to stop and look at it on the table for what it is, all the pieces. Look at the patterns in your choice of people that you're dating, right? Yes, you keep getting the jerks or whatever, but okay, what makes you choose them? Let's break that down a little bit. Or, if I'm staying in this situation, am I really happy? Am I really getting what I want out of it? Or am I staying here more so fighting for the idea of what I want? What's tangibly happening and technically correct on paper? What are the facts? All right. What is actually going on there when I take the biased or rose-colored goggles off for a second and to see the pieces for what they are, emotion aside. Then after I can see that more clearly, then we can bring the emotion back in and ask, well, why is that emotion doing that and saying that to me and all those things? What's the message in there that can actually serve me, not one that's going to keep me stuck in the space of cycles and not growing? And after you gain that clarity from seeing your situation for how it actually is, right, and you're willing to be honest about where you are, you're clear on that, comes the second step, which is you have to see what's possible. See, vision pulls you forward. And without it, you'll stay stuck orbiting the same disappointment. The reason why so many people get stuck in a space where they're in a cycle and they can't get out of it is because they're too consumed with the present and the past, what's got them to where they are, or at least the things that led up to this, and where they actually are. And they strip their ability to change things away from themselves because they're refusing to look forward towards what they can create because they're consumed by what they're already experiencing. What you're experiencing right now is a byproduct of the habits and the patterns that got you here, right? But they have no defining of where you can go if you're willing to vision what that can be. You get to decide that. And when you don't, your mind locks in on the only thing it does know, which is what it's already going through, not what it can produce. And this is far from about fantasy. It's about seeing what could happen if you actually did the work to have what you want to have, or align with someone who can, because maybe you've done a lot of work, but you're still accepting or trying to make it work with people that have not done the work. And so this is about giving yourself a chance to really visualize and see what is possible if all the pieces are working the way they're supposed to work. Because when you can visualize that, then now you start to get clarity on the components necessary to have that, what it's going to take to create it and bring it into fruition. You'll never know that if you never think of it and think about it. And here's one of the biggest reasons I know most people don't think about it. Because at all the consultative calls I do when people come to work with me, I always ask a question on that call, which is, hey, I know what the obstacle is. I know what the issue that you're dealing with is. We talk about that. We get clear on the problem. And I ask them simply, well, if things look the way it's supposed to look, what would it look like? What do you want? Where do we go? What's the goal we want to get to? That's the fun stuff, right? And almost always, right, it's a low percentage of people that don't do this. But the majority of people, when I ask that question, start telling me more about what they don't want in their vision of the future than what they do want, right? Now, why is that? If I ask you what you want, why do you start telling me about, well, I don't want to fight all the time, and I don't want to not be heard, and I don't want us to, not understand each other and all the things. Like, okay, got it. But I asked you what you wanted. And the reason why that happens is because people don't spend enough time intentionally visualizing and having vision for the future to where their mind is conditioned to think about the things they don't want. It's thinking defensively instead of offensively. It's thinking what I need to push against or avoid versus what do I need to move towards that I will enjoy. And that is a problem, and it's a pattern we have to break. If you don't believe better is possible, you won't leave what's holding you back. The truth is, if you can't see a future worth building, then you'll continue to repeat a present that you hate. And this is more than just relationships. This is life, period. If you don't believe there's better out there for you, whether it's with a person or whether it's for the career or just a better way of living, whatever it is, then you're going to continue to orbit and figure out a way to repeat the reality you're living in that you don't even like because you haven't given yourself anything more to aspire for or to think could happen. So after you get real with yourself about where you actually are, you're real honest about it. And then you decide from there what you believe is possible, what you want it to be, comes the third step. You have to commit to making it real. And oh, see, this is where chaos breaks out. Everything, hell breaks loose, right? Because this is where most people fall off. Everyone says they want love, but won't change their patterns. They won't learn new skills, or they won't walk away from what's clearly not it, what's not the love that they're seeking for. They won't even walk away from that. They'll stay stuck there. And simply put, it's because you can imagine amazing worlds, but when it comes down to it, you got to put the work in to get it, the tangible stuff. And see, that's where I get active. That's what made me want to become a coach. That's the sauce. That's the space I live in, eat, sleep, and breathe it. What are we going to do? You can sell me all the dreams you want about what you want, how much you want it, and how you're sick of your situation. But when I come to you and I say, all right, cool, this is what we got to do to change it. This is the kind of, mentality we got to get out of, and this is the one we got to get into. Here's some of the way your ways of thinking needs to shift and change. Here's the way some of your actions and your patterns need to adjust. You're going to tell me everything I need to know about what you're really prepared for and what you really want, about how you respond to that. Are you going to lean in to the things I'm saying, or are you going to turn away? Are you actually going to take that step that's not comfortable, that's not fun at all, to get what you want on the other side? Or are you going to procrastinate? Or are you going to make excuses? Or are you going to use that intellectual smart brain to say all these crafty little excuses that make all this sense? But at the end of the day, the conclusion we end up with is you're still not doing it. You're not doing what you need to do, right? You're not fooling anyone but yourself in those situations, right? And look, it's no knock to you if that's where you're at right now, because, hey, we have a journey to go on. And oftentimes we have to let a thought run through our mind enough, and we have to keep getting, spanked by life to let it keep on giving us the same painful experience until we get fed up enough to do something about it. But only you can fully make that decision and choice at some point to do something about it and actually get into action about it. But you have to find something that's, passionate enough for you inside of you, that you anchor to, that pushes you to go through the hard turnover, to do that work and all those things. There's no judgment for anyone that isn't ready for what they say they want, but just always know with yourself, if you keep saying you want it, be honest with yourself about why you're not getting it if you're not doing the work and the things that have been laid out for you to get it, if you still want it. You've got to be willing to do whatever it takes. But understand this as well. Doing whatever it takes means doing your part, not everyone's part. Because I can hear some people now, well, I could do all this work, but what about them and everything else? You don't worry about what they're going to do or what the external factors you can't control are going to do. You worry about what you can create to attract to you what you want. See, too often we try to go and slip into doing the work for the other people. And we let that deter us from doing our work and staying on our path because we feel, well, it's not going to matter anyways because they're not going to. Where you're too focused on what's already been created as a result of where you are currently in your growth journey, not what can be created from who you can become and what will be drawn to you. Sometimes it takes time, right? Let that seed be watered and let it grow. But don't take yourself out the race by being too focused on the external results versus the internal results you can create, which then will impact and affect the external results. So you don't need to overfunction or convince anyone. You just do what's in your control that aligns with your vision, because it's your vision. And whoever's meant to be in that vision will be there. Whoever's not, won't be. But you cannot build the relationship that you want to have still clinging to or repeating the same patterns and habits that are killing it, killing the possibility of it, no matter what the people you're dating do or your partner is doing. That's none of your business. Do your part. Yes, navigate appropriately. Don't let yourself be mistreated and all those things, but be more consumed about making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do for your vision. And the rest of the external things will take care of themselves as long as you do what's best for your vision. And hopefully that vision you've crafted actually serves you, right? It's healthy for you. It's helpful, positive, loving, feeds your spirit, and builds you up. All five. Make sure your vision comprises of those pieces and you don't second guess anything outside of that that doesn't align with that vision. You just adjust accordingly. Look, most people want results but resist reality. They want love but fear leaving comfort. But if you can embody and take these 3 steps seriously, seeing clearly, envisioning boldly, and acting relentlessly, you will change your love life. And not because it magically gets better, but because you finally do. So if you need help going on that journey to learn how to cultivate and apply these 3 steps effectively for yourself to change your love life, change your dating results, to finally start having a vision for what you actually want it to be versus having to navigate what it is and feeling like there is no hope in the equation. So you actually can change things from the inside out and see the results you want to see. Then email or DM me the word coaching and we will get to work, only if you're truly ready to put that work in actual sessions. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, know the time, space, and maybe even the resources for it, then at least email or DM me the word transformation, and I'll send you the link to my transformation course that'll teach you a lot of the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own pace, on your own time, at a resource level more fit for what you can afford. Either way, though, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.